Breaking news, the GWOAT Claressa Shield was cleared by the Michigan State Athletic Commission for testing positive for marijuana, aka smoking weed. Claressa Shield's suspension from Michigan State has been lifted. It was declared that Claressa Shield did not smoke weed, but the reason why she tested positive for marijuana to begin with was because she was around people that was smoking weed. So she was exposed to secondhand smoking, which caused the failed test, only for traces amount of marijuana. Anyways, none of that mattered. Claressa Shield proved her innocence and the suspension is up. Really, this was old media doing. They made this bigger than what it really was because nobody cares about athletes smoking marijuana. The only thing we care about is fighters who cheat by taking PEDs, performance enhancement drugs. That's it, that's all. As far as marijuana, that's performance downgrading drugs. If you smoke weed, you're only harming yourself, not your opponent. On the other hand, PEDs, you are harming your opponent. And that's the key difference. Either way, Shield did not test positive for either or. She did not take either or. But it's crazy how old media are preying on Claressa Shield's downfall to the point where as soon as news came out that there's a possibility Claressa Shield tested positive for marijuana, some of old media members actually reported it to be PEDs until Claressa Shield threatened them with lawsuits for defamation. That's when they cleared their act real effing quick. Now, when it comes to this marijuana thing in boxing, it doesn't make sense how Ryan, for example, was smoking weed leading up to the Devin Haney fight and after the Devin Haney fight, and no one said anything to him. Not the commission or anyone. I'm talking about before Ryan tested positive for PEDs. It wasn't until Ryan actually tested positive for 2 PED tests. That's when the New York State Athletic Commission stepped in, mainly due to Devin Haney lawyers forcing them to. That's when they actually did something. And then on the other hand, when Keyshawn tested positive for marijuana, for smoking weed, they actually changed his win to a no contest. But other fighters, when they smoke marijuana, they don't, which that's what makes boxing the wild, wild west. I mean, Oscar Valdez actually tested positive for PEDs leading up to a fight, and then he ended up robbing his opponent, and they still didn't change his win to a no contest against Robinson, I believe his name is. However, they did to Keyshawn, so clearly they have their favors if you do have the complexion for the connection to get the ultimate protection. With that being said, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe below. And to be continued on the next episode of Akhi, Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
They had smeared all over these big networks, ESPN, Shade Room, Hollywood Unlocked, all these bloggers. Claressa Shield suspended for smoking weed. Do it look like I need some damn weed? Huh? No, it don't. I never smoke weed, and I just went to trial on March 6th. So I went to trial on March 6th. Me and my lawyer sat in a meeting with the State of Michigan Unarmed Combat Commission. Huh? Yeah, go ahead and put the congrats in the chat. We sat up on a meeting with them for an hour and a half for it to come back, for them to come back 8 days later and say, hey, they didn't say, hey, it was actually a court order. Yeah, it's a court order that I'm going to read to you guys that says that I'm unsuspended. And yeah, it say a lot of stuff. I'm just going to read it to you. And then I'm going to get down to the nitty-gritty of it. Because for everybody who shared that I was smoking weed and putting that weed shit on my name, you owe me an apology. I don't give a damn who you is. From the smallest peons to the biggest gods, you owe me an apology. Now, here we go. The State of Michigan Unarmed Combat Commission. Michigan Unarmed Combat Commission compliant. Claressa M. Shields, professional boxer, license number, yada, yada, yada. issued and entered this 14th day of March 2025. Order dissolving order of summary suspension. I think you guys know what, well, if you've never been to court, you probably don't know, but it says order dissolving order. That means that it's dissolved. That means that it's done with. It's over with. Evaporated. Okay? Let me continue. 1, because it's little bullet points. The Michigan Unarmed Combat Commission, through its agent, the Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs, Corporations and Securities, and Commercial Licensing Bureau Department, issued a formal complaint and order of summary suspension of affidavit under the Unarmed Combat Regulatory Act, MCL 338.3601. In the above matter on February 12th, 2025, alleging, in part, that respondents' conduct posed an imminent threat to the integrity of the sport, the public interest or the welfare and safety of a contestant. So, I'm gonna break that down for those who don't really understand. They said that that the complaint was that basically I smoked weed, and weed made me be I posed a prominent threat to the integrity of the sport of boxing, the public interest, y'all I guess, and the welfare and safety of my opponent, of a contestant, and which is Danielle Perkins. So, I guess me smoking weed was supposed to make me be all that. First of all, that's the first mistake. Because here, now they want to put the word formal complaint and they want to use the word alleging, right? They didn't use that at first. That's the problem. That's the problem there. So everybody that ran with the oh, she's suspended, the word was supposed to be temporarily suspended because I could not go to trial. And if I didn't go to trial, how are you going to suspend me without giving me a chance to defend myself, right? Me, my lawyer, and my team. So just rewind a little bit more. Before it came out that it was marijuana, it was already rumors going around saying that I supposedly was on PEDs. That's another defamation of character. But we won't get into that. Let me read you bulletproof 2. Respondent's license was summarily suspended based on a positive drug test administered following a contest held on February 2nd, 2025 under MCL 338.3648. I think this word summarily was supposed to be temporarily suspended, but I'm going to look it up and see if that's what it means up in legal terms, because I'm not a lawyer. But I'm pretty smart. So that's what they said it was for, the drug test. Number 3, on March 14, 2025, respondent petitioned the MUCC Care Department to dissolve the order of summary suspension under MCL 338.3642. In response to a petition, the department, on behalf of the MUCC, may grant or deny a request to dissolve the order of summary suspension or immediately to schedule a hearing to decide whether to grant or deny the request to dissolve the order under MCL 338.3642. 5. The department held a compliance. Yeah, you gotta go. There you go. 5. The department held a compliance conference with correspondent on March 6th. Like I told y'all, up on March 6th, that was the day that I picked to go to trial. And to say, at the compliance conference, respondent provided evidence that her conduct no longer poses an imminent threat to the integrity of the sport, the public interest, or the welfare or safety of a contestant. So they said that this happened on March 6th, but we just got the news back today. Okay. Therefore, it is ordered. This is not a letter. This is an order. Therefore, it is ordered that, based on the information respondent provided at the compliance conference, that was the hearing on March 6th, the department, on behalf of the MUCC, finds there is no longer an that there is no longer an imminent threat to the integrity of the sport, the public interest, or the welfare and safety of a contestant that requires emergency action under MCL 33883642. The order of summary suspension referred to above is dissolved, effective on March 14th, 2025. The department will resolve respondent's name. No, the department will remove respondent's name from the suspension list of the sanction record keeping organization effective on March 14th. Let me get all that. Effective March 14th. The department will remove respondent's name from the suspension list of the sanction record keeping organization effective on the same date. So that's all good stuff, right? And then they say at the end, this order does not resolve the formal complaint issued on February 12th, 2025, and does not close the enforcement action. Signed by Linda Clegg, Director of Corporation Security and Commercial Licensing Bureau, Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs. This order does not dissolve the formal complaint, but the order of summary suspension referred to above is dissolved, effective on March 14th, which is the complaint that happened on February 2nd of me supposedly testing positive for marijuana. All I'm gonna say is these y'all quit letting people be so loud about African American athletes without being held accountable.